we kind of get to see just how ridiculous it is that he's a good guy now. I mean, he literally filed his teeth down into basically shark teeth. He's a giant fucking thug, and we're supposed to accept that, I don't know, he just had a change of heart off screen. And then...
Yes.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Why does his appearance dictate the type of person he can or should be?
Dude.
Obvious
For
reasons.
already, you look at somebody, you just go, well, obviously.
What are we doing here?
That tells you all you need to know. It's just like, well, his whole thing is look at him. He's got sharp teeth and he's huge. So
He looks like a thug, so why wouldn't he always just be a thug?
he can't get out of that thug life. So, you know, I guess we can't just accept somebody changing their lives and wanting to better themselves. Because look at him.
to see a little bit of a tease that the Venom symbiote wants to be attached to Peter, not Harry. Could that possibly be foreshadowing? After some more padding with...
What does that indicate? Is that just like, oh, I'm more clever than the game, or this game is too obvious? What is that?
I have no idea.
Because the marketing was Venom.
Yes.
On the screen is Venom.
We're just basically watching the Venom story play out.
So there's no point in even having that without elaboration. If there was something after that, like, could you be more hand-fisted?
I would have liked it's a lazy writing type of thing.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. He could be like, I would have liked a more subtle approach to that instead of it literally just latching on to it. Maybe Harry's a little bit stronger or weaker.
But maybe he feels his audience is smart enough or agrees. Or agrees with him enough already.
Yeah, we're already there with the whole they agree, so there's no point in further elaboration.
Yes.
So it's not, you can't just put out a video for your own audience. You can because he did. But when I say you can't do something, always take it into consideration that I mean you ought not to do it for the reasons that it's dumb. We're obviously talking about, and we always talk about somebody who does it. You can't just spend an entire Demon Slayer video talking about animation, and then they just do. But
and then another just does.
Clearly mean is you ought not to do such a thing.
Yes.
Now,
unless you are like an animation major, someone in the business, someone that can expand and expound upon the types of animation, what they're doing with here, the way they're doing these keyframes, the stretching, that type of stuff. If you're just saying, how can you say it's bad? Look at it. Dude,
get him out of here.
The number one example, absolute worst. Whole video is just, how can Demon Slayer be good or bad when it looks like this? For every reason that's not this.
But he puts out videos to the larger net for his audience, assumedly.
Yes.
But then gets mad when people make responses and stuff on his videos when he's not clarifying what he means.
Does he get mad?
He has, with Mauler. He made a whole response video talking about comments from the God of War video. He was not happy. But why would he do that if he self-admittedly was just like, I wasn't paying attention. I was bored. But you felt the need to defend yourself.
That just leads credence to either you're super thin-skinned or you actually do care about the material you put out. And you think you put out good material. So if there's pushback on that material, you of course have to push back to the pushback. Even if the material is based on a thing you weren't interested in, your material itself you still feel is good.
But I wonder why I know you're trying to press play, but I wonder why. What was the catalyst for him just going, nah, that was a lazy video. Yeah, that was a bad video because I wasn't paying attention. But this time I am paying attention. Is it just to denigrate that video to prop up this video, or did he really learn that he did a bad job with that video? And I wonder what.
Based on this video, do you feel like he's learned how to do a video properly talking about this subject material? No. Then what did he learn?
What did he think he learned? Or is it, like I said, or is it just...
He had paid attention to this one. as opposed to 0% paying attention. That's what he learned.
That's what I'm saying. That video was the bad one, but no, y'all gotta listen to this one because this one's all facts.
After some more padding with Miles that isn't.
It's not padding, it's character exploration. It's because we're seeing Miles shirk his responsibilities throughout the story. When the story, it's also a flip on the head because he's taking the utmost responsibility for Martin Lee by like, I'm gonna kill this bastard. But he's shirking the things he should be doing. And eventually, at the end of the story, he accepts all the responsibility that comes with both being Miles Morales and being Spider-Man.
But it's very easy to just go, it's just padding because you're preaching to the choir. And that's why I just hate stuff like this.
Some more padding with Miles that isn't even worth mentioning. We get one of the worst missions in the game. Insomniac heard everyone's complaints about the Mary Jane missions in the first game, and instead of addressing criticism, like many modern egotistical developers, they decided to double down.
They did address it in a facet because they gave her more abilities than just sneaking around. You can get up close and knock them out with melee. Eventually you get a gun that can shoot webs at people.
Yeah, it's more action oriented than just pure sneaking. That does create further problems, but they definitely did address it. There's fewer of them as well.
Mary Jane missions have turned into glorified The Last of Us missions. I mean, seriously. And Sony games have so little confidence in the average player's abilities that the tutorial extends not just beyond some simple prompts. No, the very first enemy you sneak up to can't kill you. Yeah, how's it going? Kill her. Kill her.
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Might be a
and
glitch,
even when you get to the actual gameplay.
Yeah, it could be a glitch. It may not be but like you said, that's also bad.
Oh. And even when you get to the actual gameplay part where you can die, these enemies are so deaf and brain dead, you can straight up sprint up to them and stealth kill them. In fact, you can do it to 2 enemies in a row if you're fast enough.
Checking it out.
He's clearly swinging at you.
Yeah. And that before you got that first guy, there was a bullet shot that went off. It just missed, or it collided with the other guy. So that's not what you said that it was. They definitely saw and heard you.
They're so dumb.
This dude is so checked out. Just this half-lidded expression of just, I am moving the controller to get past this.
They're so dumb, as soon as Mary Jane takes cover and goes around a corner, they lose sight of her and are all confused and don't keep tracking your location. All of this on top of the fact that a single taser to the neck knocks them out, when normally it takes like 8 punches to knock out a base.
He was tracking your location. He was going towards the location that you went into. That's what was happening there.
Like 8 punches to knock out a basic enemy as Spider-Man who has super strength. Now this is the part where some nerd says, actually he holds back against normal humans, otherwise he would kill them. Yeah, but he holds back so much that it takes 8 punches versus 1 taser.
Because you don't know how much this person can take. So you pull back to above average human strength and ramp up if need be.
The only thing I will say about this isn't so much of the Spider-Man holding back. It's that you can ready your body for punches. You can take a bunch of punches in a gym to harden your muscles, to harden your pain. Not pain receptors, but just like be able to take that type of pain. Be able to take those types of... Know how to take a punch. Know how to fall. How do you train yourself to fight against electricity?
You can't.
That's the angle I'm coming from. But if you want to count this as a bad thing, this is not a thing I would argue against.
Yeah.
It's that pure comic movie video game logic of, hey, you can shoot this person 4 times in the chest, or you can elbow them once in the nose and they go down the same.
Have electric fists at this point. In fact, Miles Morales could just electrically charge his punches to knock out people instantly. This gameplay is so unbelievably bad, dude. It is truly an embarrassment. And when we finally make it through this segment, the whole point of this mission was to rescue Dr. Connors, aka the Lizard. But of course, Kraven shows up right before she can rescue him, and actually, we get a pretty cool moment where the girl boss finally gets defeated. And briefly, we get to play as Spider-Man again.
Okay, see, the only reason why it was cool was because she was defeated.
Yep.
Not because of anything that Kraven did, not any of the dialogue, not what comes from this, not the Lizard transforming, none of this. Just that she was beaten.
You're showing your hand too much.
He's not even trying.
He's playing poker, cards up on the table, boy.
Yeah.
Everyone else clutching it to their chest. They're just like, hey.
I need a 7 of clubs. Muff, that's not a 7. Okay, but that does help if you do give me a 5. But I would really like a 7. All in.
Play as Spider-Man again, only for them to take away control in just 5 minutes by having Peter get stabbed by Kraven. We don't even get a boss battle here, no.
No, the boss battle comes later. What's the problem with that? This is... You would just want to just fight a bunch of random thugs for 10, 15 minutes? No, let's get on to this point now that we've gotten this story stuff down.
I would really like a Spider-Man 2 game in the style of what he would want. Just to see what does he
value?
What does he value?
Here, no. Insomniac thought it would be more interesting for him to get stabbed during a cutscene, and then we get this major fake out as if Peter Parker's gonna fucking die halfway through the story in a Spider-Man game.
He might die in the last game, honestly.
But it still denotes the severity of this.
And I really like this, the walkaway scene where you're dragging him and Harry's just going crazy in the background.
Yeah. But no, you just go, okay, now we see why he's, one of the reasons why he's so dependent on the symbiote. So, because it literally saved his life.
Story in a Spider-Man game. And to the shock of absolutely no one, the Venom symbiote attaches to Peter.
This is a storytelling thing. It's not meant to be a shock. This is not, you can't denigrate something that was in the trailer.
This guy is going, why did Insomniac think we would actually think Spider-Man is gonna die? Dude, just engage with the story.
You can see how they're both reacting to the death. You can see how Peter is fading from existence. You feel that moment of, dang, how would I really feel if this actually happened? Oh crap.
Because in the first gameplay trailer, we see Peter with the symbiote suit. Why would he be in a symbiote suit if we've yet to see that happen? Why would we believe he was gonna die here?
And he gets the black suit. Now you would think there would be a lot of tension right here because now Harry is going to start dying from his cancer again. Which honestly, if you think about it, doesn't really make sense. You would think the Venom symbiote would just kill all of the cancer cells in his body and then he would be fine. But I guess that wouldn't be dramatically interesting.
And what did you want him to just go?
And does he have cancer?
Does he have cancer? What does he have?
And I'm fine with the route they chose. What I do have an issue with is that it takes far too long for Harry to start turning evil. Instead,
he's becoming more desperate because Peter's blowing him off and he's getting ever closer to dying. And he's happy that his friend is alive, and then he goes, well, it's gonna kill me, so let's figure out how to get this suit back on me so I can live too. And Peter's just like, yeah, I'll get around to it, what if? Then he hears his father over talking like, Peter, you've already been, always been a son. He's just like, no, this.
Basically like Harry's
and then it's like, hey, we gotta kill the symbiote, Harry. I'm sorry, we'll find another way for you.
It's like, no, that is the way.
No, we're done with all that bullshit.
What if it takes a year? I ain't got a year.
For Harry to start turning evil. Instead, we get a very, very half-assed Bully Maguire sequence. Because the writers are giant cowards, most of the time Spider-Man isn't even an asshole, and it doesn't help that Yuri Lowenthal is a very...
The symbiote suit does not make you a douchebag, an asshole, anything. It brings out more aggressive traits in you. Mm-hmm. So Peter in this instance, when he's just like, I gotta do it myself like I always do, it's his deep down feelings manifesting through the symbiote's aggressive nature. It's like not, hey, I've got the I've got the symbiote. Girl, now I can dance and I can slap women.
This is just I'm just mad now. Because if that's the case, why wasn't Harry?
Doesn't help that Yuri Lowenthal is a very bad one-note voice actor who has only managed to have such a prolific career despite his lack of any vocal range for purely nepotistic reasons, and no, I'm not gonna elaborate on that. You'll just have to look it up.
I'm gonna lay a libelous claim against a man who's had a storied career. And I'm gonna insult him here as well. It'd be note, lack of rage.
It'd be like if somebody was like, hey, Synthetic Man is a cuck. He likes his girlfriends to get by other men. Look it up. Well,
I'm sure you'll find somebody on Twitter saying that. Is that evidence? Is that proof?
Can you... Forget all the nepotism part. Can you showcase the vocal range issue? Can you not just say the thing? Show a performance from this game based on another game, and then
show Spider-Man 2. Show another symbiote performance.
Not the 90s one.
Show Spectacular Spider-Man. But no, it's bad and he shouldn't be employed.
And I love how the praise he gets is a little anecdote at the side of the screen while he's crying about him not being a douchebag.
You know why it's fun here? Because it's just God mode. Attacks don't hurt you. You do 2 attacks and then you get a cinematic.
But this is the more brain dead stuff.
It's 100% more brain dead.
Look it up. But voice acting aside, Peter's steady decline into being a total chud was very sloppily handled, to the point where he goes from being relatively normal but slightly more confident into a complete sociopath.
Hey! It's like the symbiote is taking him over, as it always happens in these Spider-Man stories. Even the Bully Maguire stuff, he just started out being more confident. The power feels good. I'm gonna take care of this business. You're a piece of Brock. And then he's slapping MJ.
Now dig on this. Because there's more of his lameness coming out.
Why do you expect a light switch when these events happen? Oh, Harry should start dying right now. Because that's how, even if he has cancer, that's how cancer works.
Yeah. just down.
It can't be in remission and start crawling back. No, it's always there at 100, and then it's at a 0, and then it's back to 100.
And then a monster over the course of like one mission. It actually felt like multiple missions were cut from this game's story because the change happened so suddenly.
No. You're talking about the MJ thing where he falls asleep, where the symbiote is in complete control because when he wakes back up, all he remembers is going to bed. He wakes up on a bench and goes, I don't remember what happened. All I remember is going to bed. But he remembers all that other stuff he does while he's awake, while he's more merging with the symbiote. That's the stuff you're talking about. Did you pay attention to the game?
Gameplay shown.
The change happened so suddenly. So next up we have a spy infiltration mission. As Peter discovers the location of where Kraven's goons are hanging out, having a party, and we get to see yet another huge woke moment.
Yeah! Huge woke moment that you have to look over the banister that you can easily skip. And it's a trained woman fighting a trained man. Yeah!
I didn't even know this scene happened.
I also didn't.
Legitimately did not. I was not paying attention to this. That's crazy.
This dude, but if you're looking for it, you're gonna find it. If you gotta find it in books, paintings, whatever.
Or if other people look it up and note it, you could just look up the woke problem and showcase it in your video.
And then sadly shake your head.
Hey, what happened with this fight? Because again, I never saw it, so I do not know what happened. Was this guy super drunk and getting all touchy and she flipped him over?
Is this dude's sixth fight in a gauntlet and now she's just coming in to clean up?
What happened here? I truly don't know because I did not see this scene.
I also truly don't know. Is this the beginning of the fight? Is this what we see as we come into the room? We just see this and we don't see the beginning of the fight? I don't know. It's not a huge woke scene.
Now, the big, hey, we're gay, come to homecoming with me. You could call that big woke.
Yes.
Some trained fighter beating another trained fighter in the background peripheral that you gotta literally look at. Ain't some big woke thing.
This is not an issue.
This is the opposite of quote unquote shoving it down your throat. You grabbed the food, ate it, and kept consuming it with, oh, I'm choking, it's being shoved.
Why are you doing this to me?
As he shakes his head.
And everyone just thinks this is okay, this is fine.
Yes, they're all villains, they're all trained. I don't know what happened.
Synthetic man, could you beat Ronda Rousey in a fight? Is there any situations where a woman can beat a man?
What if she's better trained than this man? What if he's a rookie? What if this is his initiation?
What if he's just getting jumped by all the people and it's just her turn right now? We don't know what's going on. But all you have to say is, look, it's woke.
I wonder if I can find this scene.
You're gonna have to try. We probably just woke. Whatever it is, it has to have the word woke in it. Because why else would it be online anywhere?
I can't find it. I went Kraven woman beating man.
Spider-Man 2 Hunter woman beats man. Dude, come on now. Come on now.
Did you find it?
No. Because why would you? This is such a non-issue. You're making this something.
Yeah, I can't. Oh, Madam Web.
This has to be a problem. It's been too long without me complaining. So I need to
especially
complain
about
wokeness.
Something. I've been complaining a little bit, but about the wokeness?
I don't know if I said this in the first video, but is this really him, or is this just what he expects that his audience wants, so he just gives it to them?
I mean, if he's shaking his head during it, but that could be part of the performance art.
I don't know, because this is literally nothing.
This is okay, this is fine. This totally means nothing. Your lying eyes, your pattern recognition, that's just schizo shit.
It does mean nothing. You're trying to make it something.
Yes.
What does it mean, synthetic man?
Yeah. Hey, synthetic man, what does it mean?
What does it mean?
Is it like the demasculization of men?
But he said it was the pattern recognition. So I guess, yes, the ever decline of men being greater sign than women.
I wonder, did he think with the delivering the food, did he think that the right-hand man was a woman? I wonder, did he think that and not a tiger?
That's just schizo shit. I was seriously disgusted when I saw this, and it doesn't help that most of this mission is yet another walking simulator mission. You get into a couple fights at the end, and it almost...
5 minutes, maybe?
I wouldn't even say that long. Depending on how quickly you get through it.
I did turn on the comic thing. It is just a setting, and it is very fun. And I like it, and I wish I had it for the whole game.
The end, and it almost seemed like we were going to have a reenactment of the famous 90s shocker scene that I'm sure we all remember.
Shocker! You probably remember this because it's been memeified. A lot of your knowledge seems very surface level. You know what Agent Venom looks like, but did you read any of the Agent Venom run?
All he said about Felicia was Auga from the 90s.
I don't know how much he's absorbed of this information. Or he's just regurgitating good thing from past. Oh, why would you want this instead of a story that's original?
Yeah,
why would you just want
different?
Because you complained that it feels like Dark Souls bosses or Arkham bosses or Arkham Combat. But now they're not doing a thing, and you're going, we should have got the thing. Well, you may be saying that. We don't know your argument yet.
I'll remember.
You can't escape me! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
But no, the actual Kraven fight is a lot more lame than that. The whole point is Spider-Man learns that the Venom symbiote is weak to
And why? I will never understand things like this. Now, again, he went back. He watched his footage. Mm-hmm. He recorded this stuff. He recognized somehow that he made a mistake and went, I'm not going to correct that audibly, just threw it through text.
I understand it when you do an entire video and like Mac, where he said the creator of Demon Slayer was a he and they prefer they. I can understand that because you literally have to re-record throughout the entire video with your video pictures. It's too much. I can understand. Put up a disclaimer. We're good there. Re-recording a line or two and splicing your audio and then putting that audio in or putting it at the end of that audio.
You have time. It's not about a time thing because you have time to recognize that you've made a mistake and amend it, but you don't have time to re-record it.
Is weak to sonic frequencies, but weirdly enough, the symbiote's not weak to fire in this game, at least not directly. There's even a part where Venom later on walks straight through fire and doesn't get hurt. That seems like kind of an unnecessary change from the comics,
Agreed.
but I guess it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah,
so now we're up to 2 moments where we could have had a boss fight with Kraven, but didn't, and I want to remind you that we're over 5 hours into the game story, and the only boss was at the very beginning. If I didn't make it clear enough already, the pacing in this game is...
But then we get Lizard, Scream, Kraven, Peter, Kraven again.
Like 3 times.
Venom like 3 times. We get like a boss gauntlet. And I don't even...
It's almost like it's a ramp up. So they give you your initial thing, your initial hype, blah, 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 blah. And then you start ramping up the de-escalation of the adrenaline pumping, blah, blah, blah. You slowly start recognizing the mechanics of the game, the way the world is working, what's going on. You start picking apart some of the side missions that you're going to have to do if you want to do those things. And then the story starts escalating. And then we start ramping up and we get more boss battle, bigger battles, so on and so forth. It's a storytelling device. It's storytelling. It's gameplay telling, honestly. Or game telling? Game storytelling? However you want to.
The pacing in this game is completely off.
What does pacing mean to you, Synthetic Man?
What does it have to do with boss battles?
Hey, do you know what happened in Mass Effect 2? We had a big old battle, and then it was a lot of just talking. A lot of just talking.
Off, where it's not just really slow, but after having to watch all of these cutscenes or holding forward in the walking simulator sequences or solving these brain dead mini games, you're then thrown a really long high octane action sequence where the game expects you to suddenly be on top of your game.
But then you complained about only having 5 minutes of fighting before we get a cutscene of Peter getting stabbed.
This isn't a problem with most people. It's a problem with you because you were really sleepy and disengaged with the game.
Yes.
So if you find those sections boring, you're going, oh, it's the fights. So now you're like, well, you're getting shocked into a battle with your already admitted weak reflexes.
What does he mean? You're expected to be at the top of your game. When are you not expected to be at the top of your game?
Because it's not like there's a cutscene going on and then Peter gets punched and then you're just fighting. There's a ramp up to, oh, okay, it's about time for a battle. Let's start getting into it.
That didn't mix well with my ADHD brain. It was starting to piss me off by this point. Next mission, Peter returns to the Emily May Foundation to team.
Does he have actual ADHD? I honestly don't know. Or is this just one of those things?
Is he diagnosed? Or people online will just say that as they are, they get distracted easily, and who knows if he's diagnosed or whatnot. I don't think that you should introduce your illness in a potential in a review like this, because that does not indicate that the game is bad or anything, because you cannot pay attention because of your ADHD.
To the Emily May Foundation to team up with Harry to create a serum to return the lizard back to his human form. But since Craven is now trying to hunt Peter, the hunters attack and destroy the Foundation. And this is where it's implied that Harry starts turning down the path of evil. And now we finally get to the E3.
No, he was sad.
Yeah.
He was sad that his foundation had gotten destroyed.
He was doing everything that he could to save it. He was like, I'm not leaving. This is our dream.
And now we finally get to the E3 demo mission, and you've already seen all this already. You know exactly what happens even if you didn't play the game. So it's not really worth covering. You chase down the...
I didn't see the E3 thing. I only knew this stuff when I played the game.
Yeah, he likes to go on media blackouts.
Yeah, not everybody knows exactly what's going on
at all
times because the game that they like is coming out.
Not really worth covering. You chase down the lizard. It's a huge cinematic sequence where you're barely even touching the controller. You know it's a good game when you can play it with one hand. Finally, next mission, we catch up with the lizard and get a real boss fight. And my only real complaint with this is something I didn't mention back in the gameplay section, but every single boss fight has an insane amount of dialogue during it. And look, I'm not arguing this on the basis of realism. I couldn't care less.
Spider-Man fights have a lot of dialogue in them.
These are all very story heavy. They are what these characters, they're opposing ideologies. This is Peter being more aggressive, just like, you pieces.
I'm trying to help you.
This is why your family left. Because you a lizard now, stupid. So he's getting more and more aggressive. So we see that as well.
Basis of realism, I couldn't care less about that aspect, to be honest. What I do care about is most of the dialogue is shit, or just complete.
No wonder your family left you. How can you say that as he's literally like
As
you
he's a
piece of shit?
You see him actively fighting against this lizard stuff. Him locking himself up because he didn't want to hurt anybody.
And here's Peter just going, you piece of shit.
You're gonna die alone here and now.
You done did it again. I'll deliver you.
Completely unnecessary.
This ain't gonna end like Sandman, homie. You done so.
Completely unnecessary. Once again, it feels like this is there to hold Zoomer's attention, but I feel like
it's not. How could it be to hold Zoomer's attention? If you said that the boss fight battles were difficult, if you said that you have to have pattern recognition, isn't the pattern recognition holding your attention because you go horizontal, vertical? Do you need the dialogue with that? Or is this story stuff that you can convey within a battle?
Placed here, if you're fighting a boss that requires you to pay attention to what the enemy is doing so you can react.
Do you have any regret for what you've done? Whatever I did to you, it wasn't personal. How is that bad dialogue?
I'm sure to you it wasn't.
Two opposing ideologies.
Synthetic Man seems like he has a real problem. I don't think he would be able to pat his head and rub his stomach at the same time. It sounds like I have to focus 100% on a thing.
Maybe that is ADHD at that point then. Who knows? Or maybe he's just stupid and lazy and tired as he admitted.
To what the enemy is doing so you can react accordingly. The talking is just a distraction. People can say I have a skill issue with this game. That's completely fine by me. But I'm not lying to you when I tell you that the talking...
He is doing horribly. My goodness.
But I'm not lying to you when I tell you
he's not kidding when he said he's just spamming circles.
Yeah, he did not recognize. His problem was he was acting all brain dead with it.
Yes.
And he's about to die.
and he talks, get hit.
But I'm not lying to you when I tell you that the talking unironically distracted me and made me worse at the game.
No, it didn't.
That's an excuse. That's a pure
Turn it off. Turn it down. There's nothing. It's not.
He was streaming. He couldn't.
You take your headphones off.
Yeah, that's possible.
Why did it make you worse? Ignore it. Block it out.
It made me worse at the game. And halfway through the...
You died, by the way. In this brain dead easy game, you done died again.
At the game. And halfway through the fight, it turns into a chase sequence across New York, which actually was a kind of fun part, admittedly.
Why? It's essentially a walking sim that you can play with one hand. Why is this
What's
fun
different
now?
from the E3 one?
Was a kind of fun part, admittedly. But Kraven, I guess as an homage to King Kong, manages to snipe the lizard off a building with a crossbow. Even though just seconds ago we saw cops. Yes, the cops apparently exist in this...
Actually, it was the Hunter's Law.
Peter talked with the police several times without this.
Didn't he tell him to stay back? Can't remember.
Apparently exist in this game despite their extremely reduced presence. Yeah, that's something you'll probably notice. And
you're about to lose the lizard, dude! How? Especially in this brain dead easy game.
Now, admittedly, he could have turned down the swing assist to 0, and he's getting used to it. I will give him the benefit of the doubt.
This is like 8 hours in.
I understand.
Notice, as a response to a common game journalist complaint about Spider-Man helping the police, I know, a fucking superhero helps the police. What a crazy idea.
There's a difference between helping the police and essentially propaganda.
Now, you want him to help the police, but you have a problem with them helping the little people, just taking pictures and stuff.
That's interesting.
Because that leads to more combat.
But here's the thing. What could the police do to a lizard? What can they do to a Sandman?
What do you want the cops to do within this scene?
What a crazy idea, right? Insomniac decided to remove the police from all but just maybe 2 or 3 missions in the entire game, and I don't think Spider-Man even ever directly interacts with them. But anyway, to get back to my point, we see the police shoot at Kraven with assault rifles, and it does not.
He did not just say we see the police shoot at Kraven.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's the problem?
There's the lizard.
Yeah, you can make mistakes. What's the problem?
He's so dumb.
It's unpatchable. No way to fix that.
Unpatchable. We lost the source code.
Yeah, he's done. He is who he is, and we're moving on.
Accept it or don't.
And it does nothing, yet one shot from a fucking crossbow is enough to
A
take
high-tech
Lizard.
crossbow that goes into his hide and then explodes. Do we see any of the hunters doing that? Your argument should be, why don't we see others hunters doing that? But Kraven could just be like, nah, weaken him up, and then I'll take the shot. We don't know. But we see that hurting him. We see why that hurts him.
Is enough to take Lizard off the building, which ultimately doesn't matter because there's still another phase of the boss battle. And Peter injects him with the cure and rescues him from drowning. And now we get one of the big plot twists of the story, that the Venom symbiote is in fact an alien, which everyone who's read any comic or seen the cartoon...
Connor's arm. I like that a lot.
Any comic or seen the cartoon knows that he's an alien. The only reason this is even a plot twist is...
But then if they would have created it in the lab, you would have been like, why isn't it like the comics?
Because you went, why isn't Felicia like in the comics?
The only reason this is even a plot twist is because it seemed like a fake out that they were going to do the Ultimate Universe version of the story where he was made in a lab.
Yep.
So I'm kind of glad they actually stuck to the comics on this one. And Dr.
Why?
Connors...
What would be the difference?
The Ultimate Universe is a comic!
He meant the original comics.
And Dr. Connors warns Peter that the Venom symbiote corrupts your mind. And now, of course, since we've been told this in the story, all of a sudden Peter's transformation into a monster skyrockets from this point forward because we gotta
destroy us. Do you understand that word? Not destroy it. Destroy us. Because now the symbiote has to protect itself as opposed to just helping Peter, quote unquote.
And it's merging.
And it's further merged.
It's getting, as he wears it longer and longer, it merges more and more.
How do the stories of the symbiote suits that you like play out? Is it very similar to what's going on right now?
What has he experienced? I'm so curious.
forward because we gotta rush this shit along. We got 2 main characters. There's no time to develop one complete plot line. And
There is, and they do.
They developed like 3 or 4 of them, including the Miles Martin Lee stuff where he forgives his enemies. Like, what are we talking about?
Plot line. And ironically, even though a lot of people kind of shit talk that you play Miles Morales for about half this game, Miles Morales has almost nothing to do with any of this. His subplot with Mr. Negative is the only connection to the main plot. We really could have used more development with Chud Mode Peter, as I'm gonna call him, because he doesn't really act like Bully Maguire. He just acts kind of like a crazy animal psycho guy.
He's not crazy. Go back to what he said there.
We really could have used more
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you're really feeling?
with
Oh my
Chud
goodness. I'm busting my ass out here trying to save you, and this is what I get?
Chud Mode Peter, as I'm gonna call him, because he doesn't really act like Bully Maguire. He just acts kind of like a crazy.
That's not crazy or psychopathic. That is him venting his anger. The pills part, no much.
Kind of like a crazy animal psycho guy.
But
which
this
I don't know.
I just hate just this. I'm gonna say it. You have all the footage of the game. You don't showcase it. You have all the time to look back and just say, look at this scene. Look at how he acts during this scene.
As opposed to whatever other scene you want to showcase.
Or anything. But just going, he does this thing. Please believe me.
Psycho guy, which I don't know, is kind of just more boring. I would like it if it was a more subtle descent and Peter just realized
It was subtle. It was so subtle. You think it skyrocketed.
Yeah, you thought that it was just a light switch.
This guy sucks.
descent, and Peter just realized that the suit was making him evil, not it being so blatantly obvious to the audience and in your face. And
The audience has a preconceived notion about what's going on with the symbiote based upon years and years of comics and movies and games.
On top of that, most of the time, Peter is super over the top villainous, which is a same thing that happens here. Because with that shocker scene, he's like, I'm gonna hunt you down.
Peter sees nothing that's wrong with this.
Just a secondary option if you don't want a more mature, serious route. You could just do what the 90s cartoon did. Believe it or not, in the original comics, the black suit didn't actually corrupt Peter's mind. That was an idea the cartoon came up with first. And let me give you a little bit of a sample of what that sounded like.
It's like this. I'm through with not getting what I want.
What's the difference?
What's the difference? When Mary Jane wrote the article,
he's like, about to kill Rhino in this scene.
I want. That's funny. I give up too. I give up trying to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
He's so good. Chris Barnes, I believe his name is. He's so good.
What was the difference?
What does he want? What does he want this Spider-Man to be?
Because that Spider-Man was about to kill the Rhino. This Spider-Man went, I'm really mad at everything right now. Which one skyrocketed?
You didn't show the slow ramp up. You didn't show the subtlety. You just went, I want it to be like this.
I actually think this could have made for an interesting opportunity in the game as well. Maybe throw one of Peter's C-list villains at him and he just fucking brutalizes him, or even better, actually kills him.
That's what
How'd that a skyrocket as opposed to...
That is a skyrocket. Not him just being aggressive and being a little bit of a douche here and there.
Actually kills him. That would have set up a great character development moment where you're...
That's a whole different story! You just wanted a whole different story! You're not engaged with the story you got! You're unengaged because it's not the story you wanted!
Is what the suit has done to him, and then he has to tear it off himself. Now, of course...
But that's... Isn't that like every single other iteration?
Yes.
Why can't it just
it needs to be like the comics, but not like the comics. But when it's not like the comics, I'm mad. And when it's just like the comics or other thing, why didn't you try to be original? There's no winning with this game.
That is a massive picture.
To tear it off himself. Now, of course, that's not the story this game is going for. And speaking of all of this, this is when we get to the next Mary Jane mission. If you've been sticking to the main story, it hasn't even been 2 hours since the last one. We have to play as Mary Jane again. And I had enough of this shit, so I just speed ran that. And this is when I really pushed the limits of how bad the stealth system was. And the setup for this is just as cringe as the mission itself. Basically, Peter finally needs to sleep after, saving the world a million times. And while he's sleeping, Venom takes over his body. Meanwhile, MJ has to defend the house and single-handedly tases like 20 hunters by herself. And if this mission wasn't bad enough, it ends with Mary Jane cornering Peter in a tunnel, and she sees that he's become a monster, and so there's a little bit of a chase scene that is almost impossible to fail, by the way, and I had to let go of the controller for several seconds for Peter to catch up, and we get a very lame game over sequence. Oh, thank God. Jesus Christ, that took way too long.
He just wanted to kill her.
I don't think that was lame.
He just wanted everybody to kill her.
But that's in the beginning of the gameplay,
Which is going to be a lot more lax than later on.
because he has to get up and he has to catch up to you. So I think that's fine.
Jesus
It would have
Christ.
been better to show later in the chase.
Took way too long. Oh, and the cherry on top? Failing the QuickTime events here does nothing. Yes, this is yet another Sony game where the QuickTime events are meaningless. And so, what are the results of this mission? Well, Mary Jane writes a scathing article about Spider-Man for
That's not the results of the mission. She wanted him to read the story beforehand because it was this story. That's not the results of the mission. It's not because of the mission.
scathing article about Spider-Man for J. Jonah Jameson. Okay, is that really supposed to be a source of conflict between these two?
Yes! It's a big source of conflict because now he feels betrayed. Harry's not trusting him. MJ is turning the city against him. He's trying to help both of them, and he's getting appreciation from neither.
You could easily just reason it away as MJ trying to keep her job, but because Peter is in Chud.
It was MJ trying to make Peter see the errors of his ways so that he can do the thing that you wanted, where he goes, oh, the suit is corrupting me. But that's not what happened.
But because Peter is in Chud mode now, he's obviously pissed about it. And luckily, right after this, we get the only legitimately good dramatic scene in the entire game.
I need that suit
But
back.
why did you showcase this when you said that, I forgot what he said.
Which
with,
part?
Peter was acting like a douchebag or something.
Pop some pills.
Yeah, I forget what he said. Oh, he's acting like a psychopath or whatever. Why did you showcase only this scene when you said that? But then it's a good scene.
Suit back.
Nah, pimp.
Yeah, but
Isn't this the same scene?
Yeah, no, this is the same
So, yeah,
scene.
why
that
would he- oh my God.
This is what he showcased. This is the only thing that he showcased when he said that Peter was acting like a psychopathic douche or whatever.
yeah, but
Pete.
Venom's my waifu.
Hey, Synthetics Man is not very funny.
He doesn't need to be.
He doesn't. But it would be
You
helpful.
saw our comment section.
It'd be help.
No reply, by the way.
No, why would there be? But surely the woke stuff can only carry you so. It ought to only carry
There
you
we
so
go.
far.
When you're dealing with people like Synthetic Man, it's obvious you're gonna actually need to say those words.
What do you remember about last night?
I just remember feeling tired.
Pete. You're not yourself. That suit is changing you.
disgusting. Stop zooming in on her.
alive.
She's so gross.
Yeah, it's pretty great, isn't it?
Why don't you pop some more pills and say what you really feel?
Hey, don't.
I'm busting my ass out there trying to save you, and this is what I get?
I said don't.
I saw your story.
I tried to tell you about that.
Yeah, but you didn't, did you?
I can't lose this job,
Your
Pete.
job is to write the truth.
I did.
The truth is, I'm the hero here, not you.
Yeah. Everything he's saying is correct, though.
You cannot be. You can't understand.
You're not engaging with the story in the way that it was meant to be engaged with.
I feel like this is very much a Eric Cartman situation, where a lot of people's favorite character is Eric Cartman, and they're like, wow, he speaks a lot of truth, not realizing that Eric Cartman is a f***ing monster.
No, bad. No, this is quite bad.
And this Peter Parker is turning into a monster.
And he's just like, yeah.
Yeah, no,
What's the
this is all
problem?
making sense to me. What's the problem?
Everything he's saying is correct, though. Am I supposed to think he's...
Yes, the things he said were technically correct, and the things Mary Jane said were technically correct.
Just the way that he's saying it and the way that he's going about these things.
But you're not gonna call the thing she said correct because she did write the truth.
He's correct, though. Am I supposed to think he's a bad guy? He's actually being objectively correct. I have no genuine critiques here. If even half of the scenes in the game were like this, I wouldn't complain about all of the cutscenes and the walking simulation.
You have no critiques, but you complained about them zooming in on her face, saying that it was disgusting. So surely that lowered your feelings towards that scene down. And if it didn't, why comment on it?
And you also noted that you thought he was a sociopath while showcasing this scene, and you thought that ramp up was too quick. So you do have some form of critique for this scene.
Plus, this is showcasing Harry in his later stages of sicknesses, which you said he should have been showcasing earlier. So that's also a negative, because he should have already been at this stage as soon as he got the venom off.
Simulator sequences. This is why I wanted more of Peter with the black suit, because we get to see...
No, because you see yourself in that Peter. Because you're going, he's correct. He's a chump. What's going on?
I'm not going to say that he sees himself within that suit. That is not a thing that I'm saying. I'm saying that he is just not engaging with the story, so he's just going, whoever's against MJ is correct.
Suit, because we get to see one of our favorite heroes, our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, who genuinely tries to be as good a person as possible, slowly be corrupted and become more arrogant. It's just inherently pretty interesting. Unfortunately, this is pretty much all we get, outside of him acting like a weird sociopathic rage monster in just a second after this. Not to mention, that little scene right there is a massive source of drama. Well, that and the fact that he was neglecting his butt buddy Miles. Yes, that is a real plot point, that he wasn't answering
I do. It just washes over you at some point.
He's underaged. Is he? He might be 18.
No, he's high school.
Yeah, but he's doing college exams and prep.
He might be on the cusp of 18 or freshly turned 18.
Still doesn't make it okay. Synthetic man. That wasn't funny. First off, jokes are meant to be funny, but just saying butt buddy as they're just partners, wouldn't Harry be more of the butt buddy?
Yeah, that'd be closer to what I would assume to be a butt buddy.
Wasn't answering Miles' calls, and so now he's upset at him. And so the writers...
I'm now realizing I forgot to mention Miles got captured during the last MJ mission. I just kind of forgot that even happened.
Why'd you put that in
paying
quotes?
attention.
He forgot for obvious reasons.
Oh yeah, of course.
He doesn't care about Miles.
No, he doesn't.
And so the writers force Peter to apologize for the rest of the game. Despite
He should apologize.
Yes.
He was blowing him off for no reason.
He acts very rude to a lady going, I'm very worried because I haven't heard from my son.
And he goes,
He's talking, he pop another pill and tell me how you really feel. Are you telling me he shouldn't be apologizing for that?
the rest of the game, despite the fact it's not his fucking fault that Venom was influencing his mind. Get ready for this point to come back up later. And this next mission was actually pretty solid as well. Basically, Miles ends up tracking down Mr. Negative. He's been captured by Kraven. They have a 1v1 boss battle where Miles decides obviously not to kill him, which I think
You still look disappointed in this scene. Did you see him rubbing his face?
He's tired.
one boss battle where Miles decides
No, that is not tired. He did not rub his eye.
That's DSP when he sees a black person chewing the nails. He's holding back his vomit.
Definitely the wrong move. It's way too boring. It's yet another thing that makes Miles way too similar to Peter, but without any of the character flaws.
But
So
you expect he's this whole game.
Yeah, go ahead.
This whole game he's been obsessed with this dude. That is a flaw.
To the point where he almost let people die.
Almost let people die. That is a flaw. So you want him, do you want him just kill him and just be like, yeah, I've established myself as something different than Peter Parker? Can he just not be a good guy who just forgiving as this mother just like, now I didn't want to be in this situation. I didn't want to do any of this.
Flaws. So anyway, instead of killing Mr. Negative, he helps him escape, and so off screen, Miles fights Kraven 1v1, and spoilers, he loses. Remember that for later. So of course, Peter...
Yeah, you see he's shocked and donezo!
You see he's on the ground.
After he had just gotten through with a big battle!
And we see that the big
Kraven
shot takes a lot out of him.
Look at this right now!
Because
why wouldn't he lose?
His argument is gonna be, why was he able to beat Kraven later?
Miles fights Kraven 1v1, and spoilers, he loses. Remember that for later. So of course, Peter shows up, he goes ballistic.
This is why I'm saying the racism might be played up. Because why is he wearing the Black Panther one?
Because it's easy jokes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Now you got me.
He goes ballistic, and again, this just shows the writers are completely toothless, because despite beating the absolute shit out of all these goons, he never actually kills anybody.
Who does he kill in the 90s Spider-Man?
Who does he kill in the original comic book? I guess everybody's just toothless if Peter Parker's not killing people while he's Venom. This is... What you said was, why couldn't he get a C-list villain and beat the ever-loving out of him? And now you're saying, despite beating the ever-loving out of them, they're still toothless because nobody dies. Why does he want a Spider-Man that killed a person?
Edgy. That is
because it's a mature story.
Mm-hmm.
Kills anybody. So anyway, you fight your way there, you fight Kraven in a 1v1 boss battle that's actually admittedly pretty good, even if I was pissed off at the time on the stream. The second phase of the...
What's pretty good about...
Why were you pissed off on the stream? What was he pissed about? That now that he's looking back on the footage, he's like, hey, that was pretty good.
Who knows?
Because I don't watch no synthetic, man.
Why even introduce the fact that you were pissed off?
Because people would probably... No, they wouldn't. Never mind.
But at least he's going to explain what he means by the fight is good. Because at least he says like the second...
On the stream. The second phase of the fight is one of the only boss fights in the game with a legitimate gimmick, that being the symbiote's weakness to sonic frequencies, so you have to like web up this bell, right? But just as Spider-Man...
In Venom, escaping the parts of the tower... Not the tower. The landscape that's about to be Venomified. Isn't that a gimmick?
As Spider-Man might kill Kraven. Now notice how I say might, because he hasn't even knocked Kraven unconscious. That's an important plot point here. He's still choking him out as Miles shows up and attacks Peter to stop him from killing Kraven.
To knock him out.
Didn't he just attack Kraven? Didn't he just knock out Kraven?
Stop him from killing Kraven. Now here we have the first major moment of the story that legitimately pissed me off.
I don't believe
Despite losing to Kraven in a 1v1 fight, Miles is able to defeat Peter
with the help of the bell.
With the weakness.
With the help of the bell.
Defeat Peter. And
again, he had just done his big shock and he was worn out from right after a battle. Whereas this, I would assume he's been sleeping or knocked out for the past 2 hours or whatever.
He's more fresh.
Speaking of fresh, what are we doing out here, people?
With the symbiote suit on. And I just know this is going to be people making...
Stop dodging!
He can't. He gotta spam that circle. He doesn't know anything but to.
Just know this is going to be people making excuses for this, saying that, well, Miles' bioelectricity abilities are more effective on the symbiote, and he also could ring the bell in the arena.
Yes.
Well, first of all, it's fucking stupid that his electricity is good against everything in this game. Yeah.
There is a person within the symbiote. That person is weak to electricity.
thing in this game. Yeah, not a single enemy resists his powers in any way. In fact, most of the time it's the opposite. And while the Bell argument is fine, I still don't think it should have been enough. Miles already feels...
I'm sorry, what?
Fine, I still don't think it should have been enough. Miles already feels like a Gary Stu in a bunch of moments throughout this game, but this is...
You don't feel like a Gary Stu in moments. You are a Gary Stu or you're not. Yeah. This is just more buzzwords, not understanding what a Gary Stu is.
Moments throughout this game, but this is truly the moment that solidified his place as the replacement for Peter Parker, because not only...
No, that is clearly him spamming techniques, because he didn't even know what it did. He's 20 feet away
and he's doing the
Venom jump.
Yeah. The replacement.
He legit did the Venom
jump. He just doesn't know what it did.
You know what? It probably lit up, and so he went, I got this, let me hit it. He's just terrible at this game.
Place as the replacement for Peter Parker, because not only does this...
Yeah, because I think that's his only... Yep, that's his only ability. So he saw, I got this ability, and went there and went, oh no.
And this is darn near the end. He's been using this ability since like 2 hours in when you get the ability. And he's just like, well, X equals ability, so use ability.
Place as the replacement for Peter Parker, because not only does the student surpass the master, but a more powerful version of his master at that. And again,
a more powerful version with a weakness who had just got finished fighting Kraven.
It robs Peter Parker of a great character development moment he could have had.
Now, is this Peter defeated, or is this Peter being held down? Is that a gameplay defeated or a story defeated? He holds them down and he talks to them.
And then doesn't Peter do it himself? I can't remember that part.
He could have had. It is
it.
Embarrassing when the 90s cartoon with its over-the-top voice acting handled this better than the $100 million...
He's literally ripping the mask off. But because Miles was the one that talked to him, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
$100 million AAA video game. So with the help of Miles, Peter rips the suit off and they capture it. And they have a conversation on a nearby rooftop, which is the beginning of Peter's various groveling, apologizing moments that you're going to get for the rest of the story. None of this was his fault. Venom was manipulating his mind.
But he didn't recognize that it was.
And he was still the person. So how can you blame him for being a psychopath and all this stuff and then take away his agency to apologize? Mm-hmm. You can't have it both ways. You can't go, why is Peter like this? And that wasn't Peter, so why does he need to apologize? The alcohol took control of his mind. So why would he apologize for hitting people?
If you drunk, can you not apologize? Because it's still you, but it's you under the influence of something.
Was manipulating his mind. Peter didn't even choose to put the fucking suit on. Venom latched to him
I feel
to
like
save...
given the choice, he would have put the suit on.
To live.
For obvious reasons, the suit is preferable.
To him to save him from dying. So remind me how the fuck any of this behavior, any of his actions were his fault when he was being mind controlled. So anyway...
He wasn't being mind controlled, he was being influenced. Mm-hmm. The control is when he went to sleep and was about to kill Mary Jane. The rest is influences. And he broke out of that influence to take off the suit.
With the help of Miles, which means it's bad.
Yeah, woke.
Yeah, woke.
Peter decides that they need to destroy Venom because he's simply too dangerous. You can't afford to give him
And
back
this is
to
the
Harry.
exact reason why I didn't wear symbiote suits during the in-story mission.
It just takes away the immersion.
You're holding Venom just like, this is horrible, this is evil, while you're in the black suit from the Raimi. It's not. It don't work.
So we're not talking about the other good scene, the good dramatic scene, that I would say is one that people should know in Norman Osborn and Peter talking. We're just ignoring that one because that was great.
Nah, it was boring.
Because Norman is working on a different cure, which, of course, as you could probably guess, is the Goblin Serum. So Peter makes his way back to Connor's lab alone, which is kind of stupid. And Harry is there waiting for him, and the Venom symbiote just kind of breaks out of containment after a dramatic moment.
No, he swung his cane and Peter blocked, or it's got squished or something. The glass started breaking beforehand.
And after a dramatic moment between the two of them. And in yet another contrived moment, Venom is born, and he is way more powerful than he was being attached to Peter, which is not explained in any way, but
That's how it always is.
Yeah,
It takes parts of Peter and then attach it to the next person, and they're stronger. And Carnage is stronger than Venom.
Couldn't you say that he's more willing to accept it now and willing to
More
easily bond with it, and therefore it takes a hold of him to a greater degree?
not explained in any way, but I will let it slide because it's a rule of cool moment. And this Venom is more overpowered than the comic book version, at least in the 90s comics that I read anyway, because he's now like 12 feet tall and basically unkillable from this point forward. You're gonna see a lot over the course of this game. They wanted Venom to be a planet-wide threat, which is kind of a problem because Spider-Man is a street-level hero.
No, you don't
don't
get to say that.
But he has problems with the street level missions.
You're not allowed to. You can't both complain about Peter doing street level missions of helping some blind lady get a dog and say he's a street level hero. Why is he doing all these planetary threats thing? It has been noted. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Doctor Strange. It might have been Iron Man. There's like 3 planetary threats to the world: Doctor Doom, Magneto, and Venom. Those are basically the 3. There might have been one more, but he was just, those are the problems.
And it's already been confirmed that the Avengers and Doctor Strange exist in this universe, so this is a little too much to ask for someone in Spider-Man's power level. But I'll admit this is actually just a minor complaint, because for me personally, I thought everything that happens from this point forward was actually pretty cool, even if a lot of it was poorly written in certain ways. And Venom,
what are the certain ways?
How can it both be cool and poorly written? Is the cool stuff just
action.
beating down
Yep.
people?
Yep. He wants to play a Dynasty Warriors Spider-Man game.
He wants to play the Hulk game again.
in certain ways. And Venom is one of my favorite anti-heroes slash villains, though don't expect him to come back as an anti-hero. He is clearly fucking evil in this version. I'm guessing this can be explained away by the fact that Harry Osborn is dying and he wanted to save the world through environmentalism, and so this is influencing Venom to have this global plot to turn everyone into symbiotes. Whereas Eddie Brock just hated Peter Parker, and the Venom symbiote acted like a scorned ex-girlfriend in the original comic book version. So there was obviously a lot of potential for redemption there. And I like anti-heroes who kill people like the Punisher, so it kind of sucks that this version...
The Punisher would hate you. I just want you to know that.
Oh, it kind of sucks that this version is just blatantly evil. But yet again, I have derailed from the plot synopsis.
I just do not like the pure and simple argument of it's not like the comics.
Yes. It's not good enough. Like I said, one of my favorite images was Captain America's shield on his chest after he died in Civil War. And I said on a podcast, if I get that, I was going to go nuts. And guess what? I didn't get that. I didn't get it. And I can go, oh wait, sucks I didn't get that scene, but it was a good movie.
Now, there's obvious things like Batman and Batman versus Superman just mowing people down. Where you just go,
That's just a lack of understanding of the character.
But this is, he is within the beginnings of the Venom stuff. And you're just like, why isn't he an anti-hero?
Yeah, just like going back to Bats v Suit, I wasn't mad at the way Doomsday was implemented. It's in Kryptonian, it's a abomination, it's just some big old thing. No problem, whatever.
Fight sucked.
Fight sucked.
He looked ugly.
Did better in Superman and Lois, which of course gets canceled. The good Superman thing, ugh.
Plot synopsis. The good news is this is the best mission in the game
because he can just hammer square and beat.
Why
is this brain dead?
This is literally the most brain dead mission of the game. That's about time.
actually get to play as Venom, but only for this mission. And the gameplay is extremely basic. You're basically just spamming square and...
But it's so cool!
You said this is one of the best missions.
Because he got to play with his favorite.
But it's basic.
Brain dead.
What? How can both coexist?
Basically just spamming square and hitting circle to block or deflect projectiles. But it actually feels like a superhero game, like Hulk Ultimate Destruction. The only thing it's missing is being able to pick up and throw cars.
Didn't you call that? Didn't you literally call that? He just wants to play that game.
How does Spider-Man fighting not feel like a superhero game? What's the difference there?
But it's pretty much got the rest. And you beat the absolute shit out of like 100 of Norman Osborn's goons. Then you beat up a bunch of Hunter.
Man. Why are these people taking 3 or 4 hits? Why are you
you're
complaining
Venom.
about that?
You should be knocking these people out.
You're massive. These should just be one shots. Why is
You've already
this
said
fine?
he's stronger than Peter.
Why is this fine?
Why doesn't this get the complaints?
Man.
And finally, Kraven shows up. You get another boss battle. You absolutely wipe the floor with him. And then Venom chops his head off, which is easily the best moment in the entire game.
So cool, visceral. I love the speeches. I love their interaction of the first and the last. I love that. I loved Kraven.
There's nothing to think about. This is a cool moment. Is visceral. It's bloody. Look at it. And that's all it is. It's pea-brain stuff. Because I'm not going to say all he says is cool, but there's a good chance that all he says is cool.
It felt like there were stakes, there were consequences to actions.
How does it not feel like there's stakes when Harry is just like, I need this or I will die? How does it not feel like stakes when...
go ahead. Sorry.
How does it not feel like stakes when Mary Jane, when Peter is coming off of his face, he's like, Mary Jane, run?
Because to these people, and a lot of people, the only thing that equates stakes is death and or the threat of death. The threat of death is meaningless if there's not actual death. And the only way to have stakes is for death. It's legitimately one of the dumbest, but that's what people, that's the way they feel.
Best of all, it was just a really cool and fun moment. It was very simplistic, but it doesn't go on too long, and the boss fight was decent enough, though more brain dead than the rest easily.
Simplistic, doesn't go on for too long.
Isn't it funny how these things happen when you're having fun, when you're enjoying the game? Now it's cool, simplistic.
It's simplistic. It doesn't go on for too long. It's brain dead.
We only get 5 minutes. is brain dead.
All these qualifiers that he's putting on this, all this he's talking about. He can't just be like, it's good. It's like, it doesn't go on for too long. It's cool. It's brain dead, but it's fine because it's just all this stuff.
And how simplistic the gameplay was for that mission, but I will take simple and fun over complex and overly drawn out boring crap.
Wow. But the rest of the game is brain dead. It's simple.
Do you understand what you're saying?
He's so dumb.
You complained about the lower level fights as well.
Dude.
What do you want? This is triggered stuff when it's just, now is the time for this argument to become convenient.
Matter.
And here it is.
This is unbelievable.
And overly drawn out boring crap, which a lot of the rest of this game is composed of. The only real problem I have with this entire sequence is that it just makes the entire Kraven plotline feel kind of pointless. He existed purely to be a jobber to Venom, to make Venom seem like a real threat.
No, he wanted a glorious death. So he wanted the biggest monster, and he found him, and he got happy, and he died.
He saw the seeds of it with Harry. He saw it more with Peter. Now he's just like, this is the muv. This is the... Because when he was fighting Peter, it was just like, bring out that anger, bring out that brutality.
Yes.
And now he gets this full on leash here and now, and this is what he wants.
Seem like a real threat.
Everything that happens within the game with Venom happens because of Kraven. Peter gets stabbed, so he becomes Venom, and then all that happens. They're in that location because of Kraven.
Thing that Spider-Man has faced so far, because we just got to see how badass Kraven was. He easily killed Scorpion. He was able to fight Spider-Man with the symbiote almost to a standstill. He defeated Miles, albeit off screen. But much later, right at the end of the game, Miles Morales is a match for Venom. He fights Venom in single combat and is able to...
Didn't he get taken up to the sky and almost killed in this?
He is fighting him. There is... What visible damage do you see on Venom? There is none. Venom, he does not punch him and Venom goes to the ground and he steps on his neck and goes, ha ha, I, Miles Morales, in my awesome suit have defeated you.
I am the hero, truly.
Get out of here, Peter. Get out of here, square face.
combat and is able to fend him off, and Peter gets a plot device power that allows him to fight Venom. There's a real reason. Miles does not. So the power levels
he has the electricity, which you said was effective against everyone. So he does have something to fight against him.
To fend him off.
Correct.
Not defeat him.
To fend him off temporarily.
So the power levels are fucked in this game.
Oh, did he hit a tips goal?
Oh no.
Oh, Phil is already complaining about Baldur's Gate 3.
Of course he is, because he has to.
He got $80 today, and I've lost a bunch of viewers. It's the third stream. You know, I thought this would happen. I knew it would happen. This is what I was worried about, guys.
More of these, once it's going to go down to 60 and then 40, then he's going to get in his 30s and 20s, and then bye-bye. I'm not going to play this for 100 hours, guys, if you guys are going to be interested.
If there's not going to be, people engaging, support.
Fucked in this game. Okay, I just had to rant about that for a second. And now we're finally in the third act, and unfortunately we get yet another hour plus of padding before the end. We definitely should have...
What with the padding?
Buzzwords. Padding.
Pacing. Woke.
And we definitely should have only gotten maybe one or two more missions here and then the final fight with Venom. But I guess they had...
This is his plan. He goes through with it through an entire city or town. I don't know what New York is. It's a city.
It's a city.
And he goes through it with the entire city, and you want him to just go, oh, there he is over there. Let's punch him. One mission.
Venom, but I guess they had to build up how crazy over the top the stakes are because now Venom is turning normal people into symbiotes. And so Peter actually uses his smarts for once and recalibrates his Sonic Blast gadget to stun the symbiote.
Why did you say Peter did it?
Stun the symbiote, which I guess that makes sense, that's okay, but the game just keeps going. There's a mission where you have to rescue Miles' mom and Genki from a subway. Why the hell is this even a mission? Again, it's just padding. It's like they forgot that Miles has nothing to do with this fucking story, so they just had to insert this here. Now
Hey, Miles hasn't seen his mom in like 3 days. Because he was kidnapped. Might want to do something about that.
to arguably the worst part of the entire game.
Knew it.
Oh no.
We knew the screen
Capital
fight.
W.
Arms.
Oh, that's a swerve.
The worst part of the entire game, the Scream boss battle. Mary Jane gets infected with the symbiote, and she turns into Scream, who actually is a symbiote from the comics, and we get the most blatant, transparent, feminist rant, I think.
Dude, I love this fight. I love them hashing things out. With all the walls of MJ down.
I'm sorry.
And Peter just understanding, hey, I never knew these things. I'm sorry. I'll be better.
It was woke, though.
I love this fight.
It was bad because it was feminist. It's woke, so it can't be good.
You are making a change, MJ. What about your book? No one read my fucking book.
I read it and it helped me.
Fair. Oh, well,
The synthetic man shakes his head sadly. Hell, this is so woke. I can't be a party to this. I can't show these people this.
He just blacks out the screen.
Avert your eyes.
Transparent feminist rant I think I've ever heard in a video game. I'm just gonna play some clips from the boss battle and you can judge for yourself.
Done begging for validation from you, from anyone.
Yes.
Validation?
She was in
A
we
writer.
just saw her as J. Jonah Jameson's lapdog. She's doing something that she does not like just for validation. And it's like she's sick of it. And it's the whole quit your job thing and do something that makes you happy. And your book is good, even though nobody read it, even if it helps one person.
Validation? If this is about your job.
It's about me. Hey! Not my job, stupid house.
Typical woman. Me.
I feel really sorry for the people that are influenced by this type of thing. Because they're just gonna grow up and think, typical woman, me. And it's such a problem.
What type of relationship can you get in with that mindset? Are you going to be the 1940s women barefoot
Traditional,
pregnant?
traditional wife.
But who would have that?
Dude, they're trying to pass a bill, I think in like Texas, of no-fault divorce, where once you're in a marriage, you're just basically in that bit.
Oh, but that Texas is big religious.
Oh, woman. Me.
For once, it's not about you. The man that went, I'm the hero, not you. For once, it's not about you.
Me.
Don't listen to those voices. They aren't telling the truth. I heard them too. I know how it feels.
Always about you. You can't keep a job. You can't pay the mortgage. Did he do without Spider-Man? Look how it's doing with you.
I can still fix this. I always do. We always do.
I always come second. I live live in your
And he just proved her point by going, I always fixed it. What's the problem? Other than obviously woke.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, but you can't just keep obviously reasoning us. You should be able to explain this. This is, you know that people are expecting a certain reaction from you because that's what happened with the gay friends, with the gay mission thing.
Yep.
So you present them with, hey, just listen to this thing that you've already listened to or you know the context to already because you're expecting this from me. Why would you not give the people what they want? Why would you not properly explain what you're talking about instead of just going, dang, she sure is woke.
always come second. I live in your shadow where my dreams turn to dust.
Remember your book? You said you want to help people.
Nobody read it.
Yeah, because he was shit. I think
He's a really bad person. She's pouring her heart out.
Whatever this, if this is actually him, if it's not a played up character, he's a really bad person.
The fact that he would invent this character and continue to propagate it means that he is a bad person. Because it's just like, well, this is my racist character. It's like, okay, there had to be a frame one for that character.
It'd be like if Phil was still doing Isaac Himmler every time he played Dead Space.
Like, Muff, you know what you doing.
I think most of this game was written by a woman.
Help me.
No, it didn't. Shut the fuck up, Peter. You're such a bad liar, really. Your book helped me, MJ.
Looking for answers, please, because you love
What a fucking simp.
can't pay a bill.
Fighter simp.
I don't believe in for a minute.
That's your joke. What a simp. Spider simp. 20 seconds of
You
silence.
don't have to trust me, but please trust yourself.
Let me do what I have to do.
You're right. I've been selfish. I was so wrapped up in my own life. I never thought about yours.
Fuck.
You just want to stay the stronger half. What? Don't feel special anymore?
What? No.
Hey, why shouldn't Peter apologize because this isn't really him? But MJ's all this feminist bush, and this is all this bush, even though this isn't really her if her mind's being affected.
Obvious reasons.
Obvious reasons.
You're stronger than me in so many ways.
Yes.
Yes, you can be emotionally stronger. You can be more responsible than somebody else.
She's simply more mature than him.
Does the strongest man in the world also have to be the fastest man? Does he have to be the smartest man? Does he have to be the most responsible man? No. They can... you don't have to just... It's not... Peter isn't just the best mom. He would be a Gary Stu if he was stronger and the best than everybody, wouldn't he? This is... What does he want?
No woms.
You see in the beginning, he's just like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay this. And she's just like, no, we're gonna work it out. I'll pay for you.
I can spot you if you need it. No.
She's compassionate and reasonable, and she wants to help people without getting anything in return.
Though she's struggling at her own job, and Peter's just like, you'll figure it out. Shrug
she's not
shoulders.
living her dreams to support y'all. And all he has to say is cover mouth, shake head, disappointed, woke. Can you go back a little bit to the full zoom in? What do you got in the background? It's a little frog thing. Yeah, it's indecipherable.
Is it the
Up at top.
Frogman stuff?
The Pepe?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't look like Pepe.
I see a Spider-Man. I see an N64 with a cartridge that's probably either GoldenEye or Donkey Kong or something.
Yeah, it looks gold. The Donkey Kong 64 one was gold.
Yellowish. I'm surprised you would play a game with monkeys for obvious reasons.
Where are you with my apple fritters? I'm starving. And
Jonah, kiss my ass. I quit.
What the?
You're so cool.
What the actual fuck? If anyone says this is a good story, stop listening to them, please, for love of God.
What's the problem?
The woman did something cool, and the man said, "You're cool."
Which
Because
is not allowed.
Imagine if this was flipped. Would he think that was a good scene?
Yes, of course he would.
Just the woman, "Oh, you're so cool," after
Wow.
Peter just goes,
Yeah, no.
"Kiss my, I quit."
Yes, of course he would, because that's a woman's place.
For love of God. Man, I got nothing more to say here that I didn't already say during the stream. This was painfully bad. Mary Jane is obviously the self-insert of the lead writer for this game, and this rant must be directed toward her ex-boyfriends or some shit.
How do you know she's not gay? How do you know she's not asexual? How do you know she's never had a relationship? How do you know she's not happily married? This is things that are happening in the game to Mary Jane Watson, and Mary Jane Watson expresses her anger and disappointment in both Peter and herself.
Too bad it's woke.
Too bad it's woke.
Because this is some of the some shit. Because this is some of the most out of touch, narcissistic.
Out of touch, narcissistic. I should have listened. I should have been there. How out of touch for a man to think. How narcissistic to think a man should listen to a woman and be there for a woman. How dare.
I'm just too focused on the combat. Go back. He completely webs her up.
Because this
And then dodges. Horrible.
He sucks at this game. There's no way that
must
she
be
has
directed toward her
completely
ex-boyfriends or
well.
some shit. Because this is
Oh, he saw. Dude, did you see how long it took for the dodge after he saw that white? Look at this. It's like 2 extra seconds.
directed toward her ex-boyfriends or some shit. Because this is
It went away before he died. He sucks. He's so bad at this game. It was completely gone before he died.
ex-boyfriends or some shit. Because this is
Dude, he's terrible. I can see why he hated this game.
the most out-of-touch, narcissistic bullshit I think I've heard in any piece of entertainment. It reads like a parody. And before anybody says that, oh, that's the point because she's got a symbiote on her, so that's not really what she thinks. No, this
No, so it doesn't count for her, but it does count for Peter.
Funny how that works, huh?
Dude, you how?
not really what she thinks. No, the symbiote is enhancing what she already felt.
So, what do you think? Now, Synthetic Man, walk with me here. A thought experiment. What, pray tell, do you think that means when Peter had it on? What do you think happened there? You getting it, buddy? Are we thinking about the same things? Are we at the same location now, sir?
Dude. This has to be a bit at this point. I can't believe this is like 3 minutes removed from his previous argument of why is Peter apologizing. It's not even like it was in the beginning of the video. It just happened. This is crazy noise.
And that's why Peter is constantly fucking apologizing and acting like a bitch the entire time. Fuck you, Insomniac. It's unbelievable. I've got nothing more to say.
So
really.
is it the symbiote, in which case you have nothing to apologize for, and you can say and do whatever you want?
So this isn't really Mary Jane in the way she feels.
Or is it not the symbiote, and you have to, and this is your true feelings coming out, and you have to apologize for everything that's said and done?
Unbelievable. I've got nothing more to say, really. So eventually, Peter gets attacked by a bunch of symbiotes at the same time, and they're trying to bring his trace venom molecules in his bloodstream or whatever. And so, Miles and Mr. Negative team up to go inside of the negative zone in his brain or something. I don't know how the fuck this works. It happened earlier in the game, and I just skimmed over it because who gives.
You said that you were paying attention. You said that this was gonna be the series.
we're almost
11
done.
minutes, thank goodness.
12, but
You said that this was gonna be better than the God of War because you're paying attention. But now, not only you skimming over it, but you had the chance to go back and learn exactly what happened here.
and you went no.
And you said no, though.
I don't.
Whatever's happening here is happening here.
Does it at this point feel like this video needed to be an hour and a half?
I feel like this video could have been 40 minutes.
I'm thinking like 30.
In the game, and I just skimmed over it because who gives a shit.
Shake head! What are you shaking your head about? That there's a black guy on screen?
Skimmed over it because who gives a shit.
There's two
Basically,
of
you
them.
just fly through the Shadow Realm and you fight a bunch of melee-only enemies who you can
So, you were mad that we got a bunch of cutscenes, and now you're getting a long gameplay, not a walking sim, long gameplay of flying through, swinging through the city, then fighting people, and now we're just flying and fighting.
Manifestation of what Peter feels about how he locks people up and then they just come right back out. And this
Playing into the symbiote mind as well.
so you can infinitely air juggle.
and
Yes,
then that
this is
leads to Peter just going, you reformed your villain instead of just putting him back in the system and he comes right back out. Like I could not do. Wow, maybe you is good. Shakes
yes,
head,
this is that
woke.
brain dead. At least we get a throwback to the first game with the Sinister Six getting a little cameo in there. And this mission ends with Peter getting the anti-venom powers. If you haven't heard of anti-venom, yes, he does come from the comics, and it is Eddie Brock in the comics, who of course doesn't exist in Insomniac's universe because he had too much Chad energy, I guess. And the whole purpose of anti-venom is to kill symbiotes. So you know what that means? It means that these new bullet spongy enemies that you've been fighting for the last hour can actually be defeated normally, thank God. But the
They
worst
have
part of this
been able to be defeated normally.
It was just harder for Peter.
And now you just have the addition of your anti-venom specials. But other than that,
And he does more damage now.
But the worst part of this mission comes right at the very end, as despite Peter now
That line. The end
shakes
of
head,
description.
shake your head, sir. This ain't what we want.
This is...
We want Peter to be the Mary Sue, not the black guy.
That's killing my joy.
No, we can't have this. Hashtag Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Anti-wokem, not anti-venom.
very end, as despite Peter
I'm surprised somebody hasn't done an allegory like that where the woke, the venom suit is the actual anti.
No, it's out there. Don't worry.
having a real reason to contribute, something that makes him stand out from Miles, since Miles is pretty much just him but better, he says this.
Why would the city need me when it has you?
Now all of you can stop coping, seething, and dilating, claiming that Marvel's not trying to replace Peter Parker since he's a straight white male. And so
What?
Why does it have to go there? Synthetic man.
Hey, maybe there's just an opportunity for Peter Parker to move the on.
Yeah. This is about chasing your happiness, his side of the thing. And MJ is doing that, and he wants to help the world, and you can do that in other ways other than being Spider-Man.
So
Now
he's
that-
gonna rebuild the May Foundation.
while there is another Spider-Man out there, so he doesn't have to worry because he is very capable.
And if a situation arises, he will assist.
What is wrong with that, Synthetic Man?
In the context of this story.
Parker, since he's a straight white male, Insomniac just straight up told you that Miles should replace Peter because he's better in every way, and he's also an oppressed minority, and he's very cultured. And Peter, at the ripe old age of 26, is busted and slow and useless.
When did they say any of that? What is this?
This is white male genocide.
They ain't say none of that.
I wanted...
Slow and useless, despite just being given a power which would justify his existence in this plot. This is where they decide to put this line. This is the writers saying fuck you to the audience and that they hate Spider-Man. People who hate Spider-Man were put in charge of writing a Spider-Man story. You know, kind of just like comic books over the past 15 years. But Sony fans are fucking idiots. They'll eat this slop up. They don't care because they hate themselves. They are the soy boy beta male Redditors who hate themselves. Okay, back.
Doesn't Synthetic Man have a Reddit?
Unironic mention of soy boy. In
beta
the year
male
of our Lord 2023.
End of a year of our Lord 2023. We're heading into year of our Lord 2024.
We are almost halfway to 2030, and it is unironically you are lambasted for going onto a website.
This is not to denigrate his looks, but Synthetic Man, are you the version you see in alpha male ass? Looking at your picture right now, does this presume a alpha male mentality or physicality?
No, he doesn't have to be alpha male because he's alpha male up here and in here in his heart
and down there in his penis.
Yeah,
because he needs the wombs to be pretty, and that's it.
Massive, y'all.
I need the bazongas
themselves. Okay, back to the plot. Venom is trying to retrieve this meteorite from Dr. Connor's lab that he landed in from space. Somehow this thing will help him infect everybody with symbiotes. It's not really explained.
Or was it explained and you didn't pay attention?
Really explained.
They explained it when Miles... I forget if Miles goes in or Venom goes into him, but he's swinging through and they're explaining it there. That's where he finds where the meteorite is and what it does.
Really explained. And we get an almost good scene with Norman Osborn seeing what has become of his son. And Spider-Man shows up right in the nick of time. But
why was it almost good? What was bad about it?
He's about to explain it, as Synthetic Man is wont to do.
It's way too early for a boss fight here. So Venom gets a hold of the other piece of the meteorite. And I'll admit, I don't even remember when he got the first piece. Again, I was trying to pay attention, but this shit was very boring. And we're given an actually interesting ethical dilemma. Dr. Connors tells Peter that he has to kill Harry to stop Venom.
Now tell it looks poor.
Yes,
tell me, dude, this looks. Come on
this
now.
Is very video gamey. Pick the save him or pick the kill him. It is a clear choice. Peter's in the middle. They're framed far away from him.
I'm like, yeah, here we go.
And you would have picked.
Save him.
Then what's the...
I would have liked the choice. Because I like Connors more. I mean, I like Norman more than Connors because he was trying.
Connors was trying to save New York.
Yeah, he was just like, no, it's over. There's nothing here. Kill him and burn it.
Oh wait, fire doesn't work. Sound, I don't know, sound waving.
Whatever you gotta do. Here, that is not Harry Osborn anymore, okay? Got it? Cool.
He has to kill Harry to stop Venom, whereas Norman Osborn wants him to save his son. Unfortunately, because this is a modern superhero story, Spider-Man doesn't consider killing Harry for even a second, so...
Would
He
you,
literally looked over at Connors and then went to Norman.
if it were not a modern superhero story, would he have considered killing them?
Yeah, Web of Shadows.
Does he know about Webs of Shadows?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. But
Second
then, right
off-
after Web of Shadows, you get games like Shattered Dimensions, which is just all the Spider-Man being good people.
But he has to throw in that modern era part just to integrate. Hey, we're in a bad time, y'all. Back then,
Hey, could you kill Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2, the video game? I just want to know the video game that you had the choice to do so. Web of Shadows. But Web of Shadows wasn't a great story. It was fine gameplay. The web strike was too OP.
it got Phil a lot of money.
Yeah, 1.5 views on the thing.
1.5 mil views, and then it got it got out of the algorithm. And why isn't it in the algorithm anymore? Boo hoo!
It's because he deleted like 80% of his channel.
It's YouTube's fault.
Imagine Phil still being popular.
It'd be the most insufferable ever.
I don't know if this was the Phil now and he was still just popular. Yes. If it was unhinged Phil that never needed to change, I think we would have gotten a lot more fun out of it.
But he would have been more entitled, and that's annoying.
Dude, it's impossible for Phil not to be entitled.
Yeah, but it would have been even more, and that's just annoying.
You
When
know
he
what?
just goes, wow, these people are so jealous of me.
He says that now.
I know, I understand
He says now
Yeah.
that I succeeded and all these other people failed.
But it wouldn't be with that asterisk of, yeah, I'm not the most big guy out there, but I'm on my own little island doing my own little thing. No, he would be like, I'm number one, suck my
I'm in
nuts.
the top 20 YouTube subscribe channels of all time.
Look at this. PewDiePie wants to collab with me. Moist Critical. He just be opening up his email and just going, oh, whoop, that's Cat's news.
He'd be
That's
doing fan request ridicule. It'd be collab ridicule or interview ridicule.
So yeah, it would be more insufferable.
He would be the worst. Dude, I wrote a short story about it. Nobody cares about this, but who cares? I wrote a short story about not time travel, but like you can go to the past and do something and then come to the present and see it play out on a screen the person built. So there's nothing you will do that'll affect your timeline. You just get to see other timelines if you do things. I just want the timeline where Phil is the most popular gamer on YouTube and or Twitch. I just want to live in that world for like 3 weeks. Just 3 weeks.
The worst.
You wouldn't be interested in just a 3-week reconnaissance mission? Crazy!
Because then he'd have the power to just get all of the restreamers off. And there'd be no restreamers. And that's half the fun.
That is true. That is true.
Trash.
No, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he would be able to do that. Because I don't know if, let's just say, if PewDiePie was streaming on Twitch, I don't know if he could get a restreamer off of YouTube. I honestly don't. But yes, I understand.
So it's not really a real moral dilemma, but we almost had something interesting there. And as Peter escapes the building, we get to see that New York is already covered in giant tendrils of symbiote slime. And we meet up with Miles again, and he has the ugliest fucking superhero costume I think I've ever seen.
I hate agreeing with him. I hate it.
No, there's nothing wrong with agreeing with the truth. You're not agreeing with synthetic, man. You're agreeing with the truth. And 2 + 2 is 4. God, I hate agreeing with you. But no, it's
But
just...
he's about to say something that's just like, ugh, and there it goes.
But look at his... Well, you think people won't see his jigaboo hair? Well, it's synthetic, man.
Oh my goodness.
The delicate ears of the people.
Ever seen. And so you would think, now we get to the last mission. Nope. there's another mission where they have to infiltrate the symbiote nest and get this meteorite that's going to help him infect the entire world with symbiotes.
So
or whatever.
what did
Who
you
cares?
want them to do? Just go over there and punch Venom?
Yes! The wham wham of Venom's face on their fist.
The symbiotes or whatever, who cares? But the real issue is that this is another fucking Mary Jane mission, and it becomes a straight up third person shooter. If it wasn't obvious enough that they were trying to make a discount Last of Us with the last two Mary Jane missions, it just straight up is a shooter. And it's so...
How is it a discount Last of Us?
Boring, contrived.
You can just, you could spam your weapon infinitely. It's resource management in The Last of Us.
He goes, it's so, and it can only be boring, contrived, or woke.
And it's so brain dead.
Huh? What?
Did he say frame dead?
And it's so brain dead.
Okay, the sound of the from the game overrid his thing.
So fucking unbelievably easy and brain dead. This game's combat system, despite my personal complaints, is good. I don't...
That's not what
I have been led to believe. I haven't
up
gotten
until
that at all. He's saying this is the real brain dead. So here's the thing. Everything is a problem until the bigger problem presents itself, and then the previous problem wasn't actually too much of a problem.
It's exactly what happened with the God of War.
What happened?
Yeah, no. In terms of that criticism was bad, but this is the one.
Okay, yeah.
Up until now, the gameplay has been good, but this is bad. It's not what you said.
Complaints is good. I don't think it's as good as like Arkham Knight, but it's good. This is not fucking good. This is terrible. It feels so half-assed. Mary Jane shouldn't have even fucking been here. She has unbelievable plot armor at this point that she can go into a nest full of symbiotes and defeat all of them and come out unscathed. The amount of secondhand cringe I got from playing this is unbelievable. It's almost funny, but it's not.
This is simply too much for Mary Jane. It becomes too unbelievable.
Funny, but it's not because you have to play it. So now, we finally get to the huge showdown with Venom. And guess what? Your anti-Venom debuff that worked on every other version of the symbiote suddenly doesn't work until the second phase of the boss. Why? I don't know, because I guess we had to drag out this boss.
It doesn't work? Does it, when you do your anti-Venom debuff, does it not move him? Is he not affected by it? What happens there? No showcasing of it.
Because I guess we had to drag out this boss battle for 4 fucking forms, and 2 out of those 4 forms, you're playing as Miles Morales. Because he's there, he exists, he has to contribute. This is clearly Peter's moment to fight his best friend. That is the dramatic buildup of the story, and they still had to have you play as Miles Morales for the second half of the fight, no less. So Miles gets the final in-game blows against Venom, against Harry Osborn, a character he barely knows, and yet they still force fucking dialogue between the two of them as if he has any emotional investment in what's going on. I don't care what anybody says. This is forced as fuck. He shouldn't even be here. Anyway, after some really over-the-top bullshit, Peter finally purges Venom.
Why?
Purges Venom from Harry's body, and he starts dying from his cancer again. Meanwhile, MJ runs the meteorite through the particle accelerator. Yes, MJ's here too. And they destroy it, which conveniently vaporizes all of the symbiote webbing and all of the minor symbiotes from the city.
Yeah,
yes, it's one of those shitty plot lines where it's like a hive mind that can be killed.
Yeah.
So that there's no real consequences to the story. And speaking of lack of consequences, Harry doesn't even die here. As he's about to, Miles defibrillates his heart with his powers, which ultimately doesn't even fucking matter because Harry's still in a coma, unless they're gonna turn him into Green Goblin in the next one.
Maybe it matters for the next game? You can't say that it doesn't matter when the story's not over.
Green Goblin in the next one, which is sort of an implication.
We got
it.
Hey, it's a fly jacket though.
It's not.
It's a fly.
Put them collars down.
With the
he looks like he looks like Ric Flair trying to look like he's in 30. Calm down, sir. Get something sensible.
That is okay. The collar. I can't say anything about the collar because why would the collar be that crisp? Essentially a sweater jacket.
Just got out of clubbing. He a beatboxer, in breakdancing. Get that trash out of here.
He does look like he's going right to the box. He's got the little chain with a zipper on.
What are you doing? This stinks.
He got you done stepped to the wrong one face. It looked like the speakers in the background, like a boombox. Like he's about to.
Man, this sucks. Come on now.
You have turned me on the hoodie.
Sort of an implication, but I hope they subvert their subversion and just have it be Norman Osborn be Green Goblin, because Harry being the villain twice in a row would be kind of shit. But again, it just shows how toothless these writers are. They couldn't even kill Harry Osborn. This would have been the perfect moment to do it, but no, Miles has to be the Black Messiah, and he saves Harry.
Why does he have to be the Black Messiah?
Why can't he just be the Messiah? Because I'm sure if Peter did it, you wouldn't go, he has to be the white Messiah. You just go, he has to be the Messiah. If it was Martin Lee, would you? Oh, he has to be the Asian Messiah.
If it was Mary Jane, of course it'd be the woman Messiah.
He saves Harry, even though he might as well be functional. He did. And then we get yet another fucking terrible scene where Peter takes a break from being Spider-Man to be Peter Parker. Now, some people
He's never had the opportunity to do so.
Because the city always needs Spider-Man.
Miles is shown to be capable enough to handle this. He showcased that to Peter. He's going, I'm leaving the city in your hands temporarily because I trust that you can do as good a job as I did when I was alone.
Now, some people have interpreted this as him retiring and Miles taking up the mantle, but you and me both know that Spider-Man 3 would fucking bomb.
Who would interpret it like that when he literally said, go be Peter Parker for a while? What troglodyte would just be like,
no.
oh, it's over for him?
Miles has a badunk.
Oh, he got the word?
They done hurt MJ. They done left her flat.
That Spider-Man 3 would fucking bomb, much like Miles Morales did.
Miles Morales sold like 8 million copies.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Like
especially for a 3-4 hour game. They couldn't have spent more than like $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. They have the infrastructure and everything. They have the city built.
By July 2021, it had sold 6.5 million copies. Bomb. 2.5 years ago, it sold 6.5 million copies.
It's a bomb.
Miles was now permanently Spider-Man, so of course Peter's gonna come out of retirement in the next one.
He's not retired.
He's not retired. Y'all people can't read.
Retirement in the next one, but it still is cringe as fuck. And then we get 2 credit scenes, one in the middle of the credits, where Norman meets up with Doc Ock. Obviously, they're going to team up in the next one. And then the end credits scene, where it shows Miles' mom is dating some dorky fat Asian guy, and his daughter is Cindy Moon, aka Silk. So we're now going to have 3 Spider-Men in the next one. Instead of Spider-Gwen, it's going to be Silk. Because it wasn't enough to have a minority Spider-Man, we now also need a woman Spider-Man. In fact, just fucking kill Peter Parker already.
Now,
I'm tired of this bullshit.
wait a second.
This story.
Paul, why did you say instead of Gwen, which means you would have preferred Gwen?
Because she's a white woman.
But then he also complained about there being a woman Spider-Man, which Gwen also is. So he would have complained about Gwen as well being a... Come on. He didn't complain about her being a minority woman. He just
Not
went,
only did we get a minority Spider-Man, we got a
woman
minority. Yeah.
but he just said we got a woman.
How much longer is this video?
4 minutes for what? Wrap up. He got to say
Yeah,
woke
okay.
50 more times.
Yeah, he didn't hit his quota.
This story
Is
fucking
woke.
sucks. So in conclusion, should you buy Spider-Man? Well, you already did or you already didn't. But just in case
What do you
you
mean
were
you
waiting for my
already
review,
didn't?
no.
Obvious
Do you
reasons.
think that... What?
For obvious reasons.
Well, obviously, but if you didn't buy it, you didn't buy it. But there's always time to buy the game. It's not you buy it now or you buy it never.
Marvel Midnight Suns is a game I played a little bit of that I was like, oh, I love this game. I'm just waiting on it to go on sale. The Legendary Edition, which has the DLC, all the DLC, is $26 right now. I hadn't bought it yet. And guess what I'm doing this weekend? Buying that Don't gotta buy it day one.
No, it's a finite time in which you can buy it. Otherwise, it just dissolves.
Like, done. And his midnight is just...
Oh no.
It's 14:08. Trying to hold on to Peter.
We're waiting for my review. No, don't buy this woke piece of trash. Do I need to remind you
You
of
bought
the
it.
gay homecoming dance mission?
Do I need to remind you of a mission that is completely
master Optional.
optional that you don't have to do, that you never have to see?
Why do you... No, you shouldn't buy this. There's gay people in a mission. There's a deaf girl in a mission. There's minorities.
Is a bisexual.
Why would you buy this game?
A
Look!
homecoming dance mission. Do I need to remind you where you play as Miles' deaf girlfriend? Do I need
For
to
a
remind you that this
7-minute
is
mission.
one giant story to set up Peter Parker's replacement? Even though Miles had almost nothing to do with the overall plot. You could have easily cut him out of this game and just had Peter team up with Mr. Negative, or maybe exploit Venom's weakness to Sonic, or, you know, bring back his comic book weakness to fire. Maybe have Human Torch show up because he's actually friends with Human Torch
So
in the comics.
just
But
replace
is he
him.
friends with him in his continuity?
So just replace him with somebody who can do the same thing as him. And what? Why not have him if you're just going, just replace him with somebody else?
Because then he wouldn't get replaced. Martin Lee is not going to be replacing Peter Parker. Human Torch isn't going to replace Peter Parker. But Miles is. It's the great replacement, baby.
Why isn't he complaining about Spider-Man just talking out in the open without a mask in a glowy blue outfit? Somebody can just look
Human
out the window
Torch.
like, oh shit, that's the kid from up the street.
He's actually friends
Hey,
with
Peter,
Human
you
Torch in the
Spider-Man?
comics. Literally anything other than playing as other Spider-Man for no fucking reason other than diversity points. And the
He
Yeah, there's-
is a Spider-Man character in the comics.
There is no other reason other than diversity.
Hey, his father was killed by a character that is showcased in this game that you want Peter to team up with.
This dude is just so blinded by the woke. It's just unfortunate.
It's definitely unfortunate that... Now, I can understand super duper extremes where, let's just say you're playing with Hitler, just gassing Jewish people. I can understand super duper, and that's just the entire game, where people are going to go, I don't want to do that.
don't
Some
know about
school
this game.
shooter
I don't know.
simulator.
Why did I buy this game? I knew it.
Why am I reading a review?
I saw.
But
the
just seeing
trailer.
a black person, just having to play as a black person is enough. Just seeing a woman beat a man, and it's just like, no, it's trash. Just a gay side mission.
then that's what the mindset of just like I just feel bad just having to live his life with just that mindset. It's just like, okay, man, just chill out, I guess.
Diversity points. And the Spider-Verse movies are surprisingly popular. That's pretty much it. So yeah, is the game...
So the Spider-Verse movies are popular, which feature Miles Morales, but it's diversity points, even though Miles Morales has been a character since like 2007.
Play good, yes, but you're not even playing the gameplay that much of this story, dude. I mean, sure, if you're one of those people who likes 100% in games, plenty of the sandbox is just fighting guys, but honestly, I'm tired of that shit. I just want a good fucking story, and not even necessarily a story, but a good campaign, right? But no, the campaign missions in this are some of the worst parts of the game, where you're just swinging around the city, having a good time, fighting some bad guys, kind of like the OG Spider-Man 2. It's actually a decent game, but as soon as you start doing any of these woke side quests, or the extremely terribly written story for the numerous reasons I outlined earlier in the video.
What were the reasons he outlined?
Boring,
Yep.
woke, not like the comics,
Yep.
too much like the comics,
Pacing.
women, which is separate from woke, black, which is separate from woke.
Peter turned too quickly. Peter didn't turn enough.
Oh, Peter's being replaced. Solid 10 things. Not bad.
Then it starts going to shit. It's just terribly paced.
Pacing is something that people, it seems like they just seem like they say it to just sound smart.
Yes, it's the same as paneling.
Because it's just, it means nothing other than to an individual. How did you feel? Did you feel like it dragged on or what? All you can do is say this was paced poorly.
Or the pacing's well.
Terribly paced. I never thought I would say an Insomniac game has terrible pacing, given their track record with Spyro and Ratchet & Clank, which are both vast majority gameplay. Same goes for Sunset Overdrive.
So that's what he wanted. A lot of gameplay and a little story. Yeah. But then he just goes, I'm not even here for the gameplay. I'm mostly here for the story.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I'm done with the sandbox. I want a good campaign.
You were bored by the gameplay near the end, and you want the story. But now you're just going, yeah, the gameplay is what we're here for. Which is it?
Same goes for Sunset Overdrive. But no, this is another legitimate Sony-certified movie game, and it's not even a good movie. It's a mishmash of a bunch of different famous plot lines from the comics, but for no reason, really. I mean, Kraven's Last Hunt doesn't even play into this except just to set up Venom. That's it, and Kraven was the best character. So yes, Insomniac
what else could it do other than set up characters or complete a character's story arc? What else could it possibly do other? It can set up a story, complete a character story arc, or just be its own little self-contained thing. In which case, it doesn't affect the story, which is what your complaint about Miles was.
Is dead, at least to me. I'm sure this game will make money. It's a Spider-Man game. Of course it will. But clearly, they don't have very many talented developers at their studio anymore. They blundered this game in a lot of different ways. And they clearly care more about pushing their progressive politics than they do about telling a good story. Many such cases.
Use the gadget!
I want to remind you that I used to be a massive fan of Sony. I loved my PS1, my PS2, I even liked my PS3. And the sad thing is, I used to love superheroes too. I grew up on my dad's comic books. I played a bunch of great superhero games growing up, and more recently,
I wouldn't say
you showcased in Alex Mercer. What's that game?
Infamous, Prototype.
He's not a superhero.
No, he's not.
You're showcasing Hulk, which is just smashing things. Here's the thing.
He has car boxing gloves.
And more recently, I played some great PS2 classics I'd never touched before. Be sure to check out my last superhero games video if you want to hear me talk about some good games.
The Punisher game was trash. And you're cosplaying as the man.
Dressed as Punisher.
This is everything he wants.
Look at him smiling.
He's so happy. Because heroes should kill people.
This is lame.
He feels very edgelord. He just wants super edgy crap.
He feels very dumb.
There's no feels about that part.
Hear me talk about some good games. Infamous 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And that's exactly how a superhero game should be done. Well, Sony's fucking...
Why? What did it do? It's a lot of gameplay with the cutscenes just minimalized. And that's what it...
Let me play so that I can get bored of the combat.
Because I just want a campaign now. Woke.
fucking dead to me now. I look forward to putting this on the worst games of 2023. Not because it's objectively as bad as Forspoken or Gollum or Immortals of Avium, but because I despise this game much like I despise Starfield. So that's about it. See you next time, guys. Alright, here we go. Miles Snow, choose life. Not bad, not bad. Okay. That's more fun than I've had in the last several hours playing this game.
Why did he have to use game clips when he had his own footage?
How odd. Maybe he saw... I was about to say maybe he saw that and it was just like, I need to put this in my game. Or maybe... I do not know.
I'm going to call this an anomaly.
Yeah. He doesn't deserve a rating. He is something else. I need to go back and watch that Suicide Squad video.
Yeah, how bad was that, honestly?
Because the only real part that I remember was...
The woke thing, actually.
He's a problem.
Many of his ilk are. But at least... And I don't consume a lot of other YouTubers. Maybe a lot of people are better at media analysis than him.
Can be worse.
Because this is
can be worse.
This was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
He said brain dead. I probably 15 times, maybe 20.
When a good bit of your critique is boring, that just means nothing.
It's dull. It has nothing to say.
It's boring. But yeah, that's stuff like that just is boring. I don't care. And just out the gate, just like
woke.
No, I was playing this while I was half asleep. You just go, okay, so this just means nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man.
This is coming out Sunday, so it doesn't even matter what we're doing tomorrow because we'll actually have done it yesterday.
And it was a disaster, or it was great. And
it's needed. The nuts taco thing.
It was a disaster.
I don't doubt that's going to be a disaster. I do not doubt.
I forgot what it was going to be.
The ranking of the
No, I forgot until you just said it.
Do you want to run down all of them for the people?
Nah, it's fine. They don't deserve it.
Because there's going to be some hatred of what we choose for win.
They don't deserve it.
This is what you deserve.
Yeah. No. Nobody deserves this. It's just, this is just clearly just not my type of content. Not just because of the fact of just pure and simple woke. But just, I'm a man who enjoys people explaining themselves. And that's clearly not Synthetic's man's wheelhouse.
No. His thing just, like, more the way I feel and look at it.
Yeah, what he values is clearly different from what I value. What he dislikes, things that just black people will lower the score of his, not the score of his game, but his entertainment for the moment.
His enjoyment. So you just go, well, if
just rocking up anytime Miles is half the game, so anytime he shows up, it's just, Well, that's just a point or two off.
Lower head, shake head, whisper woke.
Not engaged in the story, not paying attention clearly because he said he wasn't. So we just, and then he just has the gall to just put out a review, just like, yeah, listen to me if you want to buy this game, as I just say, this doesn't matter, this scene is unimportant, it's boring. What
The combat's brain dead and uninspired, and it was actually good. It's the final 8 minutes of the video. The combat was good.
Let's check out some comments.
Do we have to?
Pinned by Synthetic Man. Oh my goodness. One of the problems with these games that cause them to become movie games with horrible pacing is that you have writers, and the writers are in constant conflict with the designers who are actually trying to make the game. The writers, 3 times in quotes, have a story to tell, and they have to fit it in between the gameplay sections. And the more concessions the design has to make to the story, the more disjointed the game becomes. There's an argument there. There's something to talk about there. Why would Synthetic... It goes on for longer.
Yes.
But why would Synthetic Man pin that when it's more eloquent than anything that he said within this in review?
Yes, if a game studio wants to showcase the story, and that is what at the forefront, and then the designers, the gameplay designers, just kind of have to work around whatever the story is going to do, you could make an argument for some types of things like that. But that's more of a workflow issue of, different arms of different limbs of your body not moving in tandem,
not working with each other. Because in Ruby, back when Monty was alive, they were storyboarding this stuff, and they would just go, okay, here's how we do the action, and then they would have a big chunk that just says Monty action, and then they would go on after that. So it's just like whatever he does in this block is whatever he does, and then we'll move on from there. Let's go to new.
You're boring. You have nothing to say.
Real life NPC. I don't know who you're talking to.
I would assume Synthetic
but the
Man.
fact that you say that is a problem.
I would
just labeling, and that's all it is. That's the entirety of the comment. What? Who cares? I hate Arkham style gameplay too. And not because it's hard, it's because it's boring to simply mash one single attack button, then pressing counter/dodge when the enemy tries to attack. Start mashing the attack button, rinse and repeat. The basic combat feels so lackluster to me. I always enjoy games like X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Wasn't that just 2 attack buttons? I think it was a light attack and a heavy attack. Do you like shooters, my good sir or madam? Or a person of nondescript. You're watching Synthetic Man, likely you, sir.
So few. Even in going to new, people are 5 hours ago commenting. What the actual... Okay. And see, Synthetic Man also attracts a certain type of person from the other side. Mm-hmm. And while you're getting butthurt for no reason, Spider-Man is already confirmed to be in development. Seems more alive than ever. Each snowflake.
There's no discussion there.
Yeah, just calling somebody a snowflake, stuff like that.
Games are supposed to be fun. Creating those boring side missions just for the sake of diversity and inclusion is not it. You want diversity done right, get Luke Cage and make side missions around him, and if you completed them, he ends up helping you in the ending or something like that. Get Blade. Imagine side missions where you fight some vampires. Or they just want cool as opposed to the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man helping some person. They want big action sequences.
Okay, this is the last one. They try to shove real world down our throat, yet according to all the cutscenes in Spider-Man 2, 95% of you New Yorkers are not white or male. 50% are of varying diverse, perverted sexualities. and 30% have some sort of disabilities. Makes sense.
Did they patrol the streets of New York as Spider-Man to see did they count up the different types of people they saw?
Just with a clicker in their hand, like, black, wheelchair.
Bro, could you imagine somebody's life just being that? Just to prove a point of white genocide they made up in their mind? Like, what are we...
Just like, did you order a hand ticker from Amazon? Why, yes, I did.
3 of them.
I'm going to add 1 for Miles out the gate.
I got 1 for the darkies, 1 for the regular people, and 1 for the disabled.
White males. He didn't even quote, like, how many, in actual New York, how many people are white males. It would have been helpful if he just went, in the real world, this many percent is white males. Whatever.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Whoops. Never again. Synthetic Man soft band. I need to make a list of actual the hard and soft bands because I don't remember. I don't want people pointing at us like, you said, like, we say a lot of things, obviously.
So for race in New York from the 2022 consensus, 37% white, not male or female, just white, 23% black, 14% Asian, 29% Latino.
So what's the problem here? Some perverse sexuality. Perverse. It was just a gay guy. Just 2 gay guys.
Here's the thing. I always love when they're like, it's so perverted, it's unnatural. When in nature, these animals be in each other left, right, and center. They don't give a dog a leg. What are we?
Look at that woke dog. It's disgusting.
Find it a woman. Find it a proper it. Well,
that's a woo. They earned their woo from last week
for obvious reasons.
It was segmented. It had to be. Yeah, no more synthetic, man. This is a chore to get through. This is like Bricky, 1 and done. We got everything that we need. I don't need to hear his
2 and done.
Technically, but I don't need to hear his woke stuff anymore. Let him be over there in his own little dumb in corner of whatever with his. I didn't see how many subscribers.
What if he did a response video to us?
That'd be funny. For obvious reasons, we would have the upper hand
because we can say the N-word.
Yep. And he wants to say it. He's fuming, and we can throw all kinds of slurs at him.
Look,
he'd have to take it. He just have to take it.
Or we'll sick the people on him.
Yep, we'll get you. You'll be off of.
Hello, woke police. Yeah, we got a 282. Whitey speaking on a turn.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I have to answer the questions, obviously. Yes, Rosa Parks. MLK, yes, we know. That's the code.
Martin Luther King, Jr. Bull. No, don't go down there. Oh, that was the right answer for like 80% of the question. All right, cool.
No Patreon. I'm surprised by that.
I mean, it seems like he makes enough money.
Yeah, there's no YouTube memberships either. It's odd.
And he might just make it from strictly Twitch, and it's because it seems like he does very well views wise. That face doesn't look good. That's a long. What is that? What? That is a long thing.
Important message for all my stream audience. The first DSP tournament will take place December 19th around. The contestants will record 2 hours of uncut footage in at least 2 or 3 given games. Optionally, you can play all 3. And I will watch their gameplay on screen and commentate. What's the point of this? At the end of the segment, I will chat will rate the performance. If you perform well in all 3 games, I will stream whatever game you want within YouTube's terms of services. So you just have to play a game well.
And then the chat votes it. And then why is it a DSP tournament?
Don't play well or something like that.
But if you play it well. Okay.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
Ooh-wee.
I
don't like Mr. Poopy Butthole. I know. I said ooh-wee.
Yeah, that was the whole point I said it.
Yeah, but I said it more like his voice. And then I just went, I don't really like his voice.
His old one or his new one?
His new one.
I like Rick and Morty.
I only watched the first episode.
Oh, no, the first episode's bad. Their voices are not great in that. By episode 3, we're in there.
Okay, because I'm like, I could see Rick smoothing out. There's still that 90% where you just go good, bam, one little word takes you out and you just go, I would have put before. Morty is a bit more rough, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, episode 1 was not the one. Yeah. I will say they probably produced one of the best episodes of the series this season. And one of the worst.
Excellent. Isn't that always how it is?
That's the way of the world, ain't it?
Woo. Click.